Hello, it's Maundy Thursday. I'm glad you're joining us as we proceed through Holy Week, and just wanted to share a few thoughts with you. Usually on this day, we would be celebrating the Agape feast at our church, and we'd all gather around the table and have some super good food and recall the story of the Last Supper and what Jesus did with his disciples. However, due to our physical distancing, we're not able to do that this year, and so Easter and the whole Holy Week looks quite a bit different from usual. However, I do want to bring you a thought to ponder. One of the main messages that we gain from that Last Supper is Jesus' command, essentially, and example to serve. Jesus said he came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. So as the disciples had gathered around the table and they were getting ready, they were eating that Last Supper and getting ready, that they didn't really know totally what they were getting ready for, but Jesus was going to be dying within a few hours, betrayed by Judas, one of the 12. And so when I think about one of the things we do at the Church of God that's a little bit unique is we do practice foot washing. We actually go to the scriptures in the Gospel of John and we read the text about how Jesus, after the meal, got down and grabbed a towel and grabbed the water and washed each other's feet. He washed the disciples' feet. Now, I was reading about this story with my son today in that Jesus Bible storybook I was telling you about. And one of the things it emphasized was sort of how bad and dirty and stinky people's feet would have been. You know, we think about, well, I wear sandals, so what's the big deal? You know, they get a little dirtier. But, you know, walking through the streets with all sorts of animals doing their business in the streets and the dust and the dirt of a day walking, you know, things would get pretty nasty. You'd get some pretty nasty toe jam, some pretty stank feet. And something about that drove home the point that Jesus, the Son of God, who came to this earth to show us what God was like, actually got down and washed the stank off his disciples' feet. Man, what an act of service. So even as we practice this at the Church of God, we practice washing each other's feet as a symbol of service. I've never had to wash like cow dung off of anybody's feet when I've done that. People usually wash their feet before they come because they're a little self-conscious. Anyway, the point is, Jesus set the example for us to serve. And he calls us to do the very same thing, to serve others, to be creative, to realize that there's really nothing beneath us when we're called to follow him in serving other people. And perhaps that's one of the things that we find challenging about following Jesus. I know I do. Like, I sometimes want to follow him in the ways that I want to follow him. But sometimes I'm called to serve in ways that are challenging or inconvenient or difficult. And during this time of the COVID crisis, I just want to encourage you to follow the example of Jesus. And let's figure out how we can serve like he served. I pray that you would have a blessed Maundy Thursday. God bless.